It's Giving Tuesday, and you don't know it, but I was talking to you for about 20 minutes, and I got a call from, oh, it's still not live. Oh, now I'm live. Hello, it's Giving Tuesday, and you don't know this, but I was talking to you and I was not live. And my publications director called me to see, like, are you going live? And I'm like, I can't answer your phone right now because I'm live. But I wasn't. So here I am, and it's been a wonderful Giving Tuesday, except for my technology challenges and my computer challenges. I guess that's technology. I am Ann Miller, and I am President and Executive Director of HEAV, Home Educators Association of Virginia, and I just want to thank all of you who have given today to HEAV so generously. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to meeting our goal for today, which is $40,000 by midnight. And we are well on the way thanks to your generosity. And our map is getting lit up with families all over the state. We want someone from every city and every county to give and support the work of HEAV. And it's such a critical day, and your support is so needed for the organization. HEAV has been around since 1983, and for me personally, HEAV has made such a tremendous difference in my life. Even before, I've been working with HEAV, volunteering first, and now working officially with HEAV since 1989. But before then, my husband and I, we had decided to homeschool in 1980. We knew, initially we knew one family who homeschooled, and that family was my parents in Connecticut. They homeschooled my two younger brothers in the late 70s. My husband was a public school teacher, and we decided pretty quickly that we would home educate our children. We saw the results in my brothers. We wanted our children to love learning. We wanted to instill our faith in them. We wanted them not to be affected by debilitating peer pressure. Yes, even in the 80s, peer pressure was an issue. Not like today, though, with the advent of internet and social media and all that brings. But even back then, in the dinosaur days, we were worried about peer pressure and negative peer pressure. We like positive peer pressure. And so, but we didn't know any other families. And then we knew one family in Massachusetts who planned to homeschool, and that was it in the whole country, in the whole world. We didn't know any other families. And I met our first homeschool family here in Virginia in 1985 or 86. It was 86 at a gym class at a local high school. And but it was at that time when our daughter was ready to officially start kindergarten. We started homeschooling right when she was born, maybe before even in talking to her. But we didn't know about the laws. We didn't know about religious exemption. And I read something in the paper. Remember, no internet, no social media, no way to get information, but newspapers, periodicals, magazines, things like that. And television. We didn't have a TV, so we didn't have that option, and no computers. But I read an article in the paper that mentioned this state homeschool association, and I called them right up, got the assistants, and I can't even remember 411, calling for, I think it was 411. Anyway, calling for a phone number in Front Royal, which is where we were located at that time. And HEAV changed our lives, and they helped us understand religious exemption, the homeschool statute, and helped us make decisions for our family that would last now for generations. Our children, we have 8 children. They're all grown and married. We have 28 grandchildren. And we're so excited, and they're being homeschooled in one way or another through community schools, co-ops, just plain home instruction. It's very exciting to see the legacy in our children and in our grandchildren. It's very exciting. But anyway, HEAV was there for us in the mid-'80s when we needed it, and began working with the organization. Someone just asked me today, how long have you been with HEAV? And I said 35 years, and then I had to correct myself because my daughter, who was born the year I started coming to the board meetings for HEAV and volunteering, she reminded me, she was visiting from California, and I said something 35 years, and she said, no, Mom, 36 years, because I was born and I'm 36. So I've been with HEAV now 36 years of working with HEAV, volunteering, and then working with HEAV. And then HEAV was not only helpful and instrumental in our own families' homeschooling, but also as a support group leader and then a co-founder of a couple of co-ops. HEAV was there even then in the 80s to help us know how to navigate those waters and to learn leadership skills. And also at that time we were very involved in legislative affairs. That's one of the things that HEAV has done from the beginning, from a card table in the General Assembly in 1983. 3 homeschool moms set up a card table because they saw all these homeschoolers come to the Capitol, and they thought, we need to stay in communication. They put out a sign-up sheet, and that was the beginning of HEAV right there at the Capitol in the General Assembly building. So HEAV really, when you support HEAV, you are supporting essentially 3 areas that we work in. One of those areas is the legislative work that we do, which is down at the Capitol. We work with legislators and all the way up to the governor's office, which he was ready to save the bacon this year when SB 1031 happened, and he told us in advance of the session that he would be willing to veto that bill if it passed. And thankfully, it was passed by indefinitely in the 0 hour. And he did not have to make that veto, but he was there ready, willing, and able because of the work that HEAV does behind the scenes. And we don't want to be alarmists. We want to be wise, and we want to build coalitions with other policy organizations and legislators and senators and delegates and the Department of Education. So we are working year-round behind the scenes to build those coalitions and to support to be able to support the work that we do and find our friends, make new friends, and help them understand homeschooling, the value of homeschooling, how beneficial it is to literally millions of families now. And so we've been doing that for 43 years, since 1983. And so the legislative is one component. We read all the bills that come up every year in the legislature, and we've done that since the very beginning. We're not just looking at for home education bills. We also look for bills that could affect home education. Sometimes our friends inadvertently introduce legislation. They're not even thinking about homeschooling, but it will affect us, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively. But we are looking at that from all angles, whether it's driver's ed, vaccination bills, child care bills, where we look through all the bills and are looking for anything that might affect homeschooling. And then when we find those bills, we go and talk to the patrons of those bills, and we help them understand the pros and cons of how it would affect homeschooling. And through the years since 1983, our homeschool freedoms have grown. There's a great video on our homepage about the history of homeschooling in Virginia. And so if you haven't seen that video, go take a look at it, because it starts when parents were facing fines and threats of jail time for homeschooling their children. It's kind of hard to imagine now, isn't it? Homeschool is so free and it just seems like so natural, but it hasn't always been that way. And because of families like yours, HEAV has been here 43 years, fighting this battle every year, watching to make sure that our homeschool freedoms are safe, and also working to expand some of those homeschool freedoms. The last few years, we've tried to simplify the homeschool statute. We haven't gotten that bill passed yet, but which will make it easier for school superintendents. I think they'll thank us afterwards because it will take away so much paperwork, but it doesn't, it still accomplishes and satisfies the requirements that they have in understanding who's homeschooling. But this is what we do, but it's thanks to families like yours who have supported the organization. We can't do what we do without your help. And during the sessions, we try to keep you informed. We're going to be sending a lot of information your way very soon. We have been working for months and months behind the scenes getting ready for this legislative session because we were pretty much promised that SB 1031 was coming back again this year. And from what we understand, it's going to come back and it's going to have maybe even some more restrictions that we want to fight against. There are people out there who would like to see background checks for every homeschool family. They would like us to have wellness visits with mandatory reporters to make sure that our children are safe, and more. And even in some states like New Jersey, they just had some legislation that they tried to get that was presented that would have required all homeschool families to teach public school curriculum on DEI. And so thankfully that did not pass, but this is something that we have to be watching out because it's popping up in other places. And the reason a lot of us are homeschooling is because we want to be able to individualize the instruction for our children, because every teacher knows, wherever they teach, that individualized instruction and one-on-one individualized instruction is the best method of education. So anyway, HEAV's been here all these years, and we hope to continue, for generations to come, to be able to protect and promote our homeschool freedoms. So that's one area where we serve, is that legislative arm where we're always looking out for potential threats and battling the threats that we see, and also introducing legislation that could be beneficial, that could open doors. One of the pieces of legislation, I think Callie Chaplow talked about it this morning, that we've introduced is to be able to allow religious exempt families to be able to take those College Board type tests, the PSAT, the SAT. We introduced legislation for that last year. It did not pass, but we're hoping to bring that back again this year and see what happens. So we have that legislative arm, and then we have the school district arm, where we are working with division school superintendents and their liaisons. We also work with you, so many of you who call us who are having trouble with your school district. Sometimes you're having truant officers show up at your door when you are not truant. You have submitted your notice of intent. Sometimes they tell you you can't withdraw your child when you can. All kinds of situations. Last year, well, I don't have the numbers for this year. I'm so sorry, but I know it's hundreds. We have worked on hundreds of instances of overreach this year. I have the year before's number in mind, which was 383 incidents of overreach that we worked with school superintendents, and with many of you who had those issues. We worked to resolve those issues, and I think last year we had a 97% success rate. This year we've had hundreds, and the success rate is still right up there. I don't have it to tell you, but maybe we'll bring that back later. But our government relations team has been extremely effective in working with school superintendents and their liaisons to resolve issues of overreach. And a lot of times it's the liaisons there in the superintendent's office, they are overworked, and there's a frequent change in staffing, and they don't understand the law fully. And so we have worked to develop good relationships with the 131 different school districts in the state, and we keep them, not only do we let them know when there's a challenge or step in and let them know what the law says, but we also keep them informed year-round, we send letters that let them know of the incidents throughout the state. Because sometimes we see, it's like popcorn, the same kinds of things will pop up all over the state. And so we just let the school superintendents know, hey, we have noticed a trend in these areas, and we list all the different areas, and here's what's happening, and here's what the law says. And we just want you to know so that you can be informed, your staff can be informed. Here are some things to look out for, here are some things to know. We also have set up a whole page on our website for school personnel, and they call us when they have questions, which is the kind of relationship we want to have. HEAV works really hard not to be alarmist. There are a lot of things to be alarmed about, and certainly this upcoming legislative session can be alarming. But we want to be wise, we want to be well-reasoned, and we want to be effective. And so with the school districts, we have had great effect. We have not been completely successful, and there still are some issues hanging out there that have not yet been resolved. But we're working on them. We don't give up. We have spreadsheets like you would not believe of every issue, documenting it, and contacts. And we contact the school districts over and over and over and over, working to resolve these problems. And we have an incredibly effective team that does this. And I don't think I mentioned, it is, I was supposed to come on at 2, and then I had technology challenges, and then thought I was live and talking to you, and I found out about 20 minutes later that I was not live. And so I had to start all over again, and here I am. But we have a double match challenge that actually started at 2 o'clock. And even though I didn't end up visible to you until 2:45, I think, we are going to extend that challenge to 3:15. So there are 12 minutes left. If you would support the work of HEAV, every donation, we thank you for every single donation. Every donation makes a gift, makes a difference to the organization. And we're frugal homeschool moms, and we want to make your dollar go as far as it can. And we just appreciate your support more than you really could ever imagine. And your support makes a difference in the work that we do year round, and also especially in the crunch times of the legislative sessions, which we're coming up on. So if you make a donation now, your $5 will become $10, your $25 will become $50, your $100 will become $200. I've got to be good with math here. And $500 becomes $1,000, $1,000 becomes $2,000. We have had incredibly generous donors who have given us a lot of money to double match today, and we are so excited. So if you give between now and 3:15, you have 10 more minutes. Your gift will be doubled, and that will be so wonderful, and that will be so helpful as we go into this legislative session, and also as we continue to fight for you every day, 365 days a year. We have people working round the clock, whether it's on Facebook or monitoring the school board meetings and checking things. We have the most diligent, incredible people you could ever imagine, who love you and who are here working for you, whether it's preparing for the convention that will bring you the resources and the encouragement and equipping that you need, or being in the office on the front lines answering the phones. We try to have a live person there, and I'm going to get to that in a second, because we have kind of 3 buckets: the legislative bucket, the local school district bucket, where we monitor 131 school board meetings every single month. And that's where we find out about policy overreach or new policies that they're implementing. We also find out about a lapse in protecting homeschoolers' privacy. And we get a lot of information from monitoring those school board meetings. And we have a whole team of people who do it every single month for 131 districts. every single month. And when you give to HEAV today, you are supporting that work, and we need your support, quite frankly, probably a lot more than you know. And I'm not allowed to cry, so we really need your support. And because we are there on the front lines doing the battle so that you don't have to. And now we may need to call you down to the Capitol this year because we're unless something, the Lord intervenes, we're expecting a huge challenge, and we're going to need your help. But anyway, so legislative, local school districts, and then community outreach and community support. That's our other big bucket, where we have an office that's open Monday through Friday. You get a live person on the phone, unless all of our phone counselors are already on the phone, then you'll get a voicemail. But we try to be there in person for you. And many of you out there, you know, you've called our office, sometimes crying, often desperate, or overjoyed, like you're so excited to start homeschooling and you want us to help you. Like, where do you begin? How do you find curriculum? And can they go to college? That's a big question still. And yes, they can go to college. Colleges actually love homeschoolers because they know how to think, and they still love to learn. And we taught them some manners that hold up well in society. But we try to have people there right on the front lines to be able to help you, whether you need help with your school district's overreach, or you just need to know where to find some curriculum, or you want to find a community. And we do encourage community in homeschooling, because it's so much easier to homeschool when you have like-minded friends. So much easier. And so we work with support groups, co-ops, hybrids, micro schools, community schools, forest schools. We work with all kinds of support organizations for homeschool families. And we have a listing. I think we have, if we don't have over, we have close to 500 different kinds of support groups and co-ops and hybrids listed on our website to help you connect with your local community. That's one of the things that we do, and we try to keep that list updated. We also help train the leaders who are running the groups, and also who are thinking about starting new groups. We do an annual Leader Life training. This year, 2026, it will be in Newport News. March 5, 6, 7, I think, whatever that weekend is. And if you're a support group leader, or you're thinking about starting a group, a co-op, a micro school, a hybrid, a community school, there's so many incredible opportunities and options out there. And if you're thinking about starting one of those, we would love to have you join us. And if you go on our website and take a look at the, there's a link there for Leader Life, and that will be in March this year. So that community part, we want to encourage and equip you and empower you so that you don't have to live in fear or uncertainty in your homeschooling. And as parents, and I can tell you, I know, I have 8 now grown children that we homeschooled all the way through. And there are enough challenges in just parenting, which homeschooling, a lot of it is parenting. And but on the homeschool front, we want to help you to have confidence to be able to teach your child to think outside the box. You don't need to bring that school model home. It's a model that was designed for the industrial age, and we don't need that anymore. And so the world truly becomes your classroom. And that's what we want. That's where we want to encourage you to think outside the box and find out what is it that what's the bent of your child? What are your child's interests? They may need more time. They may need more help. They may need a different curriculum because this one's just not working. And you have that freedom. That's the freedom that we enjoy in homeschooling. And if you're new to homeschooling and you haven't experienced that freedom, well, come on, call us and we can encourage you on different ways to think outside the box. So that community aspect of helping form communities, serving communities, and also we provide webinars during the year and special things like we just did this. We're getting ready to start an entrepreneurial program with Candace Duggar. Oh, she's amazing. That will be starting in January. So if you have a young entrepreneur or you want to fan the flames of entrepreneurialism in one of your kids, go check out that class. I don't know if it's filled up yet, but I know we had a lot of signups right away when it first was announced. But so we offer things like that all year long, and also then we do the annual convention, which is one of the largest in the country. This year we had about 11,000 people total in attendance, and lots of dozens of speakers. I don't know, 100 and I don't remember the numbers so well, but just under 200 different exhibitors, maybe 170 in the 170s. Lots of exhibitors. We do free How to Begins for those of you who are thinking about homeschooling, and also we have developed a Thursday is all about special needs, struggling learners. We bring in special teachers. We have a special mini fair for struggling learners and special needs learners. And we do that on Thursday, which has grown every year. We keep doubling the size, and it keeps filling up and filling up and filling up, and we're going to be expanding it again this year because we know that so many of you have children who are struggling to learn. And I have a lot of neurodivergent children in my family, and I knew when they were growing up, like I knew we had a lot of ADHD, I knew he had some ADD, I knew we had a dyslexic son, and sure enough, when they became young adults, they went and got themselves diagnosed, and guess what? Mom was right. And so we did a lot of outside the box teaching and learning and strategies to help our children be successful in life. And we've just been so blessed with our children. Doesn't mean we didn't have a lot of hard bumps, and that's why HEAV is here too. And we bring in speakers, and our counselors can encourage you when you're going over some of those bumps, because life is full of bumps. And but there are people who have gone before us who can help us in navigating that way, and we want to be there for you, and we bring in resources also to help you and encourage you and equip you in your homeschool journey. So those are our buckets: legislative, local school district, and community, that we are that we've been doing really since we began. Our first year in 1983, we had a convention in our first year of existence. I wasn't with HEAV then. I had decided to homeschool already, but I didn't even know about HEAV. So we love you more than you could ever imagine. And we have walked a mile or 20 in your shoes. Although every homeschool journey is different, but there are some things there are a lot of similarities in our journeys and challenges with ourselves, with our children, with our curriculum, with our schedules, with our housekeeping. You know all the things. I know all the things. But we love you. We are here for you. We are here for you all year long. And if we can serve you, please let us know. And the people that work with HEAV who volunteer and who are employees, we do have employees as well, but we use a lot of volunteers. We have way more volunteers than we have employees. Way. And we are incredibly grateful to them and to you for being courageous and bold and taking it. I mean, it is a chance when you don't know, like it's the unknown, but stepping out and homeschooling your child is such a gift that we'll keep on giving. And we appreciate the struggles and also know that there are a lot of solutions out there that you may not know about yet, but they can come your way through the resources and giving us a call. We're here for you. And for this Giving Tuesday, I would just ask that you would be as generous as you possibly can with HEAV. Your support is so necessary. The demands, homeschooling community has grown wildly. And I think just since COVID, I think we're up. I'm so bad with the numbers. I have 5 engineers. I'm bad with the numbers. And that should be an encouragement to you, the moms who don't like math. It's not that I like arithmetic. But, oh, isn't it terrible? Homeschooling has grown a lot. And I'll get that number and send it. I'll put it in the chat. I don't want to say a wrong number, so I won't say anything. But with that, our calls and the cases of overreach, I mean, they just keep skyrocketing, and we keep working to resolve them, and we will continue to resolve them because we want you to be able to homeschool in freedom and confidence and joy, and for you and your family, and for your children, to give them the best education that you possibly can. And we're here to support you in that work. And I remember what it was like to have no one, and not even know any homeschool families. And even then people were saying, is it legal? Can you do that? Our kids did not go out and play during school hours, that was for sure. And a totally different era than it is now. And you have other challenges with the too many resources maybe, but too many curriculum choices as well. But we're here for you. We love you, and we want to support and encourage you. And we want to be on the battlefront, on the front lines for you as well, because when we do that work, then and you support us, then we're supporting you in return by providing that freedom and going to battle for you at the Capitol. So give as generously as you can today on Giving Tuesday, and your donations will be doubled. And thanks so much, and I'll be back later.